West Midlands police are in the headlines yet again, this time over allegations from a former police detective that vital evidence from unsolved murders have been lost by the police force. The former senior detective has claimed that high-profile murder cases had evidence binned, including evidence into the murder of 15-year-old Mark Billington, who was found hanged more than 35 years ago, actions which the former detective believes prevented the murderer from ever being caught. In fact, the former detective believes the killer was in fact Solihull child killer Brian Field, whose name has been linked to a number of cases. Mark's death was originally treated as suicide. However, in 2001, a senior detective told the press he believed Mark had not taken his own life. The case was revisited a year later following pressure from the ex-officer who approached the media. A murder inquiry was ignited. The former detective said he had no doubt that 15-year-old Mark Billington was murdered. He said, "We in uniform, plods if you like, didn't believe for 1 minute that we're dealing with a missing person. There was no reason for Mark to take his own life. He wasn't being bullied. And 15-year-olds do not have a support network. Where are they going to go? Where are they going to stay? A happy 15-year-old sets off on his bike to kill himself. It doesn't happen." The 2002 case review fell apart due to missing vital evidence, which is said to be a documented fact and not speculation, as murder squad detectives publicly admitted a number of items had been disposed of, preventing DNA analysis. It's also a fact that West Midlands police lost items taken from the body of 20-year-old Barbara Forrest, found raped and murdered in Birmingham Parkland 46 years ago, and whose killer has also never been caught. The former detective, who was asked to remain anonymous, believes many other vital pieces of evidence stored at the force's Bourneville Lane base were binned during a sweeping mid-90s reorganisation of the police force. He said that "we have a triple murder and a double murder that remain unsolved. I find it hard to comprehend. If exhibits, and for these crimes they should be kept indefinitely, have been lost, it is beyond an own goal. It is a case for real concern. You can't go back and look at things that aren't there. If I hadn't served in the force, I'd be the first to send them a freedom of information request, simply asking, do you still have the exhibits, yes or no?" He stressed, "I have no axe to grind. I simply believe this is an issue that should be in the public domain." He claims the trial of an armed robber that he caught in the mid-90s fell apart because vital scenes of crime evidence had been thrown away. He recalled, "I couldn't believe it. I just asked, was that a policy decision?" A West Midlands police spokesperson said regarding Barbara Forrest, "The items weren't found. We informed the Sunday Mercury newspaper of this on December the 6th, 2012, after an officer spoke to her family the day before. Regarding Mark Billington in 2003, we said Mark Billington's death was originally treated as non-suspicious for 18 years. Some items which would have been retained for a suspicious death inquiry were not retained in this case. Clearly, there is a finite amount of exhibits we are able to retain. The last review was carried out in 2018 and no further lines of inquiry were identified. It remains an unsolved case and subject to periodic review or review upon new intelligence or information." And one of the problems I see is that although there may be a finite amount of exhibits that can be retained, maybe if the police simply retained exhibits that were of use, that were of importance, instead of taking items from people as so-called evidence simply to inconvenience them, which, I might add, I would never have believed until it happened to me when I started the channel, then there would probably be a fair amount of additional space for relevant and important evidence that actually help solve crimes, rather than help some copper's ego. Child killer Brian Field enjoyed around 30 years of freedom following the murder of another boy, 14-year-old Roy Tuttle, in 1968 after sexually abusing him, and was only caught after being stopped for drink driving and having his DNA taken in 1999. He's also been linked to a number of cases by the media, including the Boxing Day 1984 disappearance of 13-year-old David Spencer and 11-year-old Patrick Warren, who were dubbed the Milk Carton Kids. There are several other cases he was linked to, which you can read on the link in the description, but I think it's pretty obvious that if police cannot hold on to important information and evidence from serious crimes, but will put pretty much every asset and every available resource into punishing people for petty offences, and we simply accept this is normal and proportionate, then we're all partly to blame for serious offenders getting away with horrendous crimes. Big thank you to the channel supporters, especially these guys. Your support is truly appreciated. Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts, as I know many of you will, and until next time, stay safe, look after each other, film the police and other officials.